Interclan disputes and caste discrimination in Meitei society. The Meitei community, predominantly inhabiting the northeastern Indian state of Manipur, boasts a cultural heritage deeply intertwined with intricate social structures. However, beneath the veneer of unity lies a complex tapestry of interclan rivalries and systemic discrimination against lower castes. This essay delves into the dynamics of Meitei clan conflicts and the pervasive malpractices targeting marginalized communities within their society. Interclan disputes. Meitei society is organized into various clans, each tracing its lineage to mythical ancestors and claiming distinct privileges and prestige. While these clans foster a sense of identity and belonging among their members, they also perpetuate age-old animosities and prejudices. The roots of clan rivalries often lie in historical disputes over land, resources, or political power, exacerbated by personal vendettas and power struggles. One prominent example of interclan conflict is the rivalry between the Ningathoja and Angom clans, which dates back centuries and has been fueled by competing claims to royal lineage and influence. Similarly, tensions between the Khuman and Luwang clans have simmered for generations, characterized by sporadic outbreaks of violence and bitter feuds. These rivalries not only undermine social cohesion, but also hinder collective progress and development within the Meitei community. Furthermore, interclan disputes manifest in various forms, ranging from subtle social exclusion to outright hostility. Members of rival clans often refrain from intermarriage or business partnerships, perpetuating a cycle of distrust and enmity. Social gatherings and religious ceremonies may become battlegrounds for displaying clan affiliations, with subtle gestures and remarks serving as provocations. The prevalence of social media and online forums has also provided a new arena for airing grievances and perpetuating divisive narratives, exacerbating existing tensions. Caste discrimination. In addition to interclan conflicts, Meitei society grapples with entrenched caste hierarchies that marginalize certain groups based on their perceived social status. The caste system, although officially abolished, continues to exert a profound influence on social interactions and access to resources. At the top of the hierarchy are the Meitei Brahmins, or Brahmins, who traditionally held positions of religious authority and intellectual prestige. Below them are the Meitei Rajkumari, or the royal class, followed by various occupational and artisanal castes. At the bottom rung of the social ladder are the Pangals, or the Muslims, who face discrimination on multiple fronts due to their religious and cultural differences. Pangals are often relegated to menial labor and deprived of educational and economic opportunities, perpetuating a cycle of poverty and social exclusion. Similarly, the Meitei Pangans, or the lowest caste, face systemic discrimination, particularly in rural areas where traditional customs hold sway. One of the most egregious forms of caste discrimination is the practice of untouchability, whereby certain castes are considered impure and untouchable by higher castes. This dehumanizing practice manifests in everyday interactions, with lower castes barred from entering temples, drawing water from communal wells, or participating in religious ceremonies. Moreover, lower caste individuals often face barriers to education and employment, further entrenching their marginalization and perpetuating cycles of poverty. In Meitei society, the concept of purity and impurity is deeply ingrained, shaping social interactions, religious practices, and everyday life. This distinction primarily revolves around the notion of clan purity, with certain clans considered pure and others deemed impure based on their lineage and historical associations. This classification not only dictates social status but also determines access to religious spaces, matrimonial alliances, and economic opportunities. At the apex of the social hierarchy are the pure clans, which trace their ancestry to mythical or legendary figures imbued with divine or royal significance. These clans often wield considerable influence and prestige within Meitei society, with members holding prominent positions in religious institutions, political space, and economic enterprises. The perceived purity of these clans is upheld through strict adherence to ancestral customs, rituals, and codes of conduct, which serve to reinforce their privileged status and distinct identity. Conversely, clans categorized as impure occupy a marginalized position within Meitei society, often facing discrimination and social stigma due to their perceived lower status. These clans may trace their lineage to historical figures associated with occupations deemed ritually polluting or socially undesirable, such as butchers, leather workers, or manual laborers. As a result, members of these clans are often excluded from mainstream social circles, denied access to religious spaces, and subjected to various forms of social ostracism. The classification of clans into pure and impure categories has significant implications for matrimonial practices within Meitei society. Marriages are often arranged within the same purity group, with alliances between pure and impure clans considered taboo and socially unacceptable. This practice reflects broader concerns about maintaining the purity of lineage and preserving ancestral traditions, as intermarriage between pure and impure clans is believed to compromise the integrity of the lineage and dilute ancestral blessings. Religious rituals and observances also reflect the dichotomy between pure and impure clans, with access to sacred spaces and participation in rituals often restricted based on clan affiliation. Pure clans typically enjoy unfettered access to temples, shrines, and other religious sites where they perform rituals and ceremonies to appease ancestral deities and seek divine blessings. In contrast, members of impure clans may face restrictions or outright prohibition from entering certain religious spaces, thereby excluding them from key aspects of communal worship and spiritual life. Economic opportunities and social mobility are also influenced by clan purity, with members of pure clans often enjoying greater access to resources, education, and employment opportunities compared to their impure counterparts. This disparity perpetuates cycles of inequality and reinforces existing power dynamics within Meitei society, further marginalizing impure clans and perpetuating their social and economic exclusion.